The stars were silent above Earth. The sky was full of smoke and fire. Cities were burning. Satellites were falling. The space around the planet, once full of peaceful signals, was now quiet. No more music, no more science. Only fear. Commander Layla Grant sat in a dark bunker under New Geneva. Her hand shook as she pressed the record button on the last working broadcast system. Her voice was rough, tired, but strong. "This is Earth. This may be our final message," she said. "If anyone is out there, please listen." Behind her, the sound of screaming echoed from above. The ground shook every few seconds. It wasn't an earthquake. It was orbital fire. "They came without warning," she said. "We didn't fire first. We didn't provoke them. But they wanted us gone." Layla looked at the screen in front of her. It showed a live view of the Earth's orbit. Alien ships, long, black, and shaped like knives, circled the planet. They belonged to the Veltar Alliance, one of the oldest and most feared empires in the galaxy. With them were ships from the Kryn Swarm and the Zulari Union, both allies in the Great Galactic Order. Together, they had over 600 warships above. Earth had none. "All our major cities have fallen," Layla said. "We tried to fight, but their technology is too advanced. Our last defense grid failed 30 minutes ago. I repeat, Earth is lost." She paused. A tear rolled down her cheek, but she wiped it fast. She knew the galaxy would be watching. "We don't know why they attacked. We only know this: we will not be forgotten. We were human. And we were here." Suddenly, the lights in the bunker flickered. A soldier in the corner whispered, "They've breached Sector 3... Layla's eyes widened. She pressed a final button, opening a hidden data line. "To whoever receives this, help the survivors. If any of us make it out... remember Earth." The camera began to glitch. Static lines crossed her face. She tried to speak again. "They're here. But the screen went black. The broadcast ended. 1 hour later, Galactic Broadcast Center, Veltar Prime. Over 300 alien species watched the screen. Some cheered. Some were silent. Some looked away. In a grand hall filled with holograms, Supreme Lord Varix of the Veltar Alliance stood tall. "Earth is no more," he declared. "The humans resisted the order of the galaxy. They refused to kneel. And now... they are dust." His long fingers tapped a floating control. A hologram of Earth appeared. Flames covered most of it. Half the planet was blacked out. "We warned them," Varix continued. "And now let this be a lesson. No one defies the Council." The audience applauded, but one alien, small, insect-like, with glowing green eyes, remained still. She whispered, "Why destroy them completely? They were different." Varix heard her. He smiled coldly. "They were loud, dangerous, full of emotion, full of chaos. That kind of species cannot be allowed to grow." He turned away. "Delete the broadcast. Burn the records. Let no one speak of humans again." And just like that, humanity was erased. 17 years later, edge of the Isan Expansit, was a quiet night in space. An old listening post, Station Echo 7, floated in a dead zone between systems. No traffic, no life. Just one bored Zulari technician named Creel. He had long fingers, glowing orange eyes, and a bad attitude. Creel yawned and poked at his console. "Same silence," he mumbled. 17 years, and still nothing. Suddenly pinged. His console blinked. A signal, very old, very weak. Creel frowned. "That's human code?" He leaned in, activating the playback. The screen showed static. Then a face. A woman. It was Layla Grant. "This is Earth. This may be our final message... Creel's eyes widened. "No, that's impossible. That system is dead." But the message kept playing. "They came without warning... Earth is lost... Creel copied the data quickly. He opened a channel to the main hub. But as soon as he clicked send, the lights flickered. Then everything went black. The station's oxygen systems failed in seconds. The alarms didn't even get time to scream. In the dark, something large moved past the station, silent, cloaked, and invisible to all sensors. 1 day later, Veltar Intelligence Command, a young officer ran into the chamber holding a data chip. Supreme Lord, we recovered this. From Station Echo 7, Varix, now older, slower, took the chip with shaking hands. What is this? He asked. It's the last human broadcast. Varix's eyes narrowed. I told them to delete everything. We did, but someone kept a backup. It was sent before the station went dark. Varix played the message. Layla's voice filled the room again. This is Earth. This may be our final message. He slammed the console. Find out where this came from and destroy anything left. The officer nodded but didn't move. What are you waiting for? Varix barked. The officer stared at the screen, pale. Sir, it came from inside the expanse. But we also found something else. An unknown signal, running under the human message. Varix paused. What signal? The officer clicked the waveform. A deep, metallic voice played, only once. We watched. Now it's your turn. Elsewhere, in the shadows of Saturn, deep below Saturn's rings, in a crater covered in artificial ice, something stirred. Machines that had slept for 17 years began to glow. One by one, massive ship cores lit up. Engines that had never been seen by alien eyes powered on. Each ship was made of black metal and living circuits. No windows, no markings. Just silence and energy. Inside the command ship, a small light turned green. A human eye opened. Commander Layla Grant, older, scarred, but alive. Smiled. She whispered. Phase 1. Complete. Behind her, thousands of ships waited. Not Earth ships. Not old human tech. These were new, built in darkness. Forged in silence. Designed by survivors who hid, learned, and changed. They weren't here to ask for help. They were here to remind the galaxy, you left us for dead. Now, we're coming. 17 years after Earth's fall, space was quiet again. Too quiet. The galaxy had moved on. The memory of humans was fading. Their cities had burned, their leaders silenced, and their people scattered or gone. The galaxy called it the cleansing. But space never forgets. At the edge of the Isin expanse, a place where stars were cold and time seemed slower, floated an old listening station. Observation Unit 9K. Built by the Zulari Union, it was meant to monitor dead systems. It was a punishment post. Nobody wanted to work there. Today, it belonged to investigator Rezo, a thin, pale alien with sharp features and 6 fingers on each hand. He sat in his chair, bored, his long tail lazily flicking. Suddenly beep. He looked up. Strange. He muttered. The signal was weak, ancient, echoing from deep inside a dead system once called Sol, the system that held Earth. He pressed a few buttons. The static cleared. A voice came through. This is Earth. This may be our final message. Rizal. Froze. Double quotes. No. That's impossible. He increased the gain. The voice became clearer. If anyone is out there, please listen. It was human, a female voice, calm, desperate, defiant. The original final message, but there was more. Beneath the message, a second signal pulsed. Not words, not noise. A code. It ran beneath the voice like a whisper, through static. Ry single quotes. Zul leaned forward. Layered message? How did we miss this before? The whisper repeated again. They are watching. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. The signal cut. All systems crashed. The station's walls trembled for half a second, then silence. Rezo stared out the window. There was nothing there. No ships, no movement. Then, a shadow moved across a distant star. A shape that didn't belong. A ship with no heat signature. No ID, no light. He gasped. This isn't possible. Then everything went black. 6 hours later, Kryn Swarm Homeworld General Vask of the Kryn Swarm clicked his pincers impatiently as the emergency transmission played. The message was short, fragmented. Received human broadcast. Not alone. We triggered something. They know. Static. Then silence. Vask hissed. Earth is dead. This is nonsense. But his technician, a nervous young Kryn, spoke. Up, General. This isn't just a message. We found this attached to the signal. He tapped the console. A black and white video played. Old Earth satellites lifting from dark craters. Ships moving without pilots. Engines lighting up from under frozen ice caps. Silent, perfectly synchronized. Vask stared. These ships are human? No, the tech said. Not like any we've ever seen. Vask leaned in. Where are they going? The tech gulped. They vanished after reaching the edge of the Eason expanse. We think they're cloaked. The general stepped back. Find them, now. Same time, deep space. Unknown coordinates. A research vessel from the Veltar Alliance was scanning dark matter patterns when its long-range scanner caught a blip. Scientist Lurox tapped the screen. Hold on. That's not a blip. That's formation flight. 5 unknown objects moved in perfect formation. They didn't show up on any known galactic database. No species used this pattern. No known drive type. They were human, but too fast, too silent. Lurox activated their stealth. Drone. The drone floated near the objects. It sent back 3 images before it disappeared. 1 showed the rear of the ships. They had no engines. No ports. Just a single red line pulsing across their surface, like a heartbeat. The second image showed one ship turning toward the drone without moving. The third image was corrupted, then silence. Lurox stood still. They saw the drone, without sensors. She turned to her assistant. Delete everything. Say we saw a comet. The assistant blinked, but that's lying to the council. Lurox turned. Do you want them to know we found them? Do you want them to know we looked? The assistant quietly began deleting files. 3 days later, Veltar Intelligence Council, a secret meeting was called. Only the highest level leaders attended. Supreme Lord Varix was there. Older, slower, but still powerful. One of his advisors showed the ghost images from the stealth drone. These ships were found near the Isan border. Their size is unknown. Their speed is impossible. And their heat signatures are negative. Varix growled. Negative? No ship runs cold in vacuum. That breaks physics. Yes, the advisor said quietly. Which is why we believe they're not using engines at all. Silence. Someone finally whispered. Could it be the humans? Varix slammed the table. They are dead. The advisor shook his head. We thought so. But we've also uncovered 13 more transmissions. All recently activated. All using old Earth deep code. Messages hidden under static layers. He activated another message, this time no human face. Just a digital screen. It read, we watched you burn our skies, now we fly in yours. Varix stared. They were supposed to be wiped out. A soft voice spoke behind him. Not wiped out, buried. Everyone turned. It was an old Veltar soldier, Commander Drexen. The only survivor from the Earth siege. He walked slowly into the room, eyes haunted. You didn't kill them, he said. You scattered them, and now they're coming back. He placed a chip on the table. It played a message recorded 17 years ago, never released to the public. The moment Earth's atmosphere cracked open, and something went underground. A massive energy surge from the Arctic Circle, not a weapon. A launch, Varix whispered. They left, before we even fired the last shot. Drexen nodded. They had a plan. We didn't notice. Because we were too busy celebrating. Meanwhile, aboard The black ship Oblivion, Commander Layla Grant, stood before a giant wall of screens. Each one showed a different world. Each world had once ignored Earth's cries, laughed, applauded. Now they were targets, not for destruction, for witnessing. Layla turned to her crew. All systems are ready. Ship AI is primed. Cloaks engaged. One officer asked, "Commander, what happens if the galaxy finds out we're alive?" Layla smiled, but it was cold. "They already have. That's why we sent the messages." She looked out the front window. Empty space stretched ahead, but not for long. "We're not here to hide. We're here to remind them. Humanity remembers." The ship began to move. No sound, no heat, no trace. It vanished. Final scene. Outer colony of the Zulari Union, on a peaceful farming world. Children played outside a small academy. Teachers taught stories of the past, of the dead Earthlings. One child raised their hand. "Miss, what if the humans come back?" The teacher laughed kindly. "That's just an old fear tale. They're gone. The council saw to that." But above them, the sky flickered. A shadow passed over the sun, too large to be natural, too quiet to be noticed. No sound, just a whisper in the void. It began on a quiet mining world. The planet was called Curoxus 9, a forgotten rock in a cold star system. It had no oceans, no cities, just drills, dust, and silence. Aliens came here to work, nothing more. No one important lived here, but under its surface, something had been hiding. Scene 1. Curoxus 9 mining colony. Foreman Jules Marek, a reptilian. Worker with thick arms and metal teeth, barked orders as drills chewed into the rock. The ground trembled under their machines. "Push deeper." He yelled. "Vein 47 is rich with dark core minerals." Miners grunted, their exosuits clanking. Then one drill stopped. Lights flickered. The ground let out a strange hum, deep, metallic, unnatural. "Foreman," called one miner, "we hit something strange. Not rock, it's metal." Jill raised a brow. "Old shipwreckage?" The miner shook his head. "No, it's smooth, perfect, shaped like a wall." The foreman walked over. What he saw made him freeze. Beneath the dirt was a black surface, cold, smooth and glowing with a single red line. "Get the scanners," he shouted. They brought scanners. But when the beam touched the surface, the entire crater shook. Dust flew into the air. And then the wall moved. It wasn't a wall. It was a ship, a giant one. Scene 2. The sky cracks open all over the colony. Tremors began. From the desert. From beneath the ice cliffs. From the deep mines. One by one, massive hidden objects rose. Dust storms filled the air. Colony workers ran. Sirens screamed. Unidentified surface activity. Evacuate immediately. From underground bunkers, 12 black ships emerged, shaped like blades. They made no sound. They rose on anti-gravity pulses, floating upward with no engines, no wings, and no exhaust. The workers stood frozen. One whispered, "Those aren't our ships." "No," someone said, voice trembling. "They're human." Scene 3. Surveillance room. Orbiting watch poster biting above Curoxus 9. A small Zulari patrol station picked up the disturbance. Technician Volume squinted at his console. "What is that?" He gasped. The scanner showed massive ships lifting from the surface, but the sensors couldn't identify them. No transponder, no ID code, no comm signal. They were ghosts. His commander, Krone, leaned forward. "Run it through the archive." They did. Match found. Archive tag. Human experimental pattern. Project Black Echo. Vol's heart skipped. "Sir, that project was classified. Buried with Earth." Commander Krone stared in silence. The ships now hovered above Curoxus 9, silent in the sky. Then, without warning, they vanished. No hyperspace jump. No trail. Just gone. Volume whispered. "They didn't fly. They slipped." Scene 4. Galactic newsfeed panic. The footage from Kurox's leaked. It spread through back channels and secret networks. Millions of aliens watched as the ghost ships rose from the ground and disappeared. News anchors stuttered. This footage is believed to be real. Unknown vessels of human origin. Repeating, humanity may not be extinct. Governments panicked. Military groups were told to raise alert status. The Veltar Alliance, the most powerful military force in the galaxy, called an emergency meeting. Scene 5. Veltar War Room. Supreme Lord Varric slammed a fist on the table. 17 years of silence. And now this? Ships rising from mining colonies? An officer spoke nervously. Sir, these colonies were built after the Earth War. No human could have planted these ships. That means they were buried before. Another added, we have reports of similar activity on 3 other worlds. Rayler 3, Thanos, and Velith 12. All remote. All mining colonies built on old Earth trade lines. A hologram lit up 4 systems blinking red. Varric stared. They planned this. Scene 6, Redgate Outpost. Deep void. A small, forgotten station drifted in darkness. Its name, REDG 8. It was the last outpost Earth had built before the fall. Believed to be abandoned, but now it came online. Inside, 1 human remained, Admiral Thorn, a scarred, silent man with a cybernetic eye and a broken voice. He had survived the fall of Earth by vanishing into deep space. Now, he stood before a control panel, watching the ghost fleets rise. A voice behind him spoke. They found the signal. Thorn didn't turn. Good. It's time. He activated a beacon, an old Earth pulse dash code. The signal spread across forgotten satellites and listening posts. 1 word echoed through deep space. Awaken. Scene 7. Civilian planet Trocanus Van, a beautiful alien world known for music and peace. Millions gathered for a festival. Children danced. Lights lit up the sky. Then the lights turned red. A streak crossed the sky, silent, glowing. Then another, and another. Civilians stared upward. 1 alien child pointed. Mom, those look like ships. The sky cracked open. 5 black ships hovered above the city. They didn't fire. They didn't speak. They just hovered, broadcasting a signal in every known language. We remember. We watched you destroy our home. Now you will watch us rise. Then the ships turned and vanished. No sound. No heat. Just fear left behind. Scene 8. Galactic Senate in chaos. The Galactic Senate, filled with dozens of alien empires, erupted in shouting. Impossible. Ghost stories. They're fakes. But 1 senator, from the Varnak species, stood slowly. I was a soldier on Earth. I saw their cities fall. But I also saw their eyes. Everyone went quiet. He continued. I saw no fear. Just anger. The kind of anger that does not forget. He looked up at the stars. They are not ghosts. They are the storm we buried. And it's rising. Scene 9. Aboard human flagship, Oblivion, Commander Layla Grant stood inside a ship 3 times larger than anything Earth had ever built before. Her officers stood at attention. All ghost fleets have risen, an officer reported. Layla nodded. Good. A younger pilot asked. Commander, are we attacking now? She shook her head. Not yet. Why not? Layla's voice was cold. Because fear is stronger than fire. We're not here to destroy. We're here to remind. She turned to a screen showing the galaxy. Let them guess where we'll appear next. Let them fear every shadow. Final scene. A child on a distant moon. A small alien child on a poor moon watched the stars each night. He had heard the stories about Earth, the ghosts, the war. His father said it was all fake. But tonight, the boy saw something. A black shape moved across the moon's sky. No sound. No trail. Just a red glow. The boy whispered, They're real. His eyes widened with fear. Deep inside, something else grew. Wonder. Because if the humans had returned from death, what else were they capable of? The Veltar warcruiser Dread Viper was the pride of the fleet. It was 3 kilometers long. It had 800 soldiers, 15 plasma cannons, 2 shield cores. No known enemy had ever damaged it. Until today. Scene 1. Patrol in Sector K-49 Captain Jithal Kern stood proudly on the bridge of the Dread Viper. Around him, his crew moved calmly, running daily scans. "All clear," said his tactical officer. "No anomalies. Just empty space." They were deep in Sector K-49, far from any known conflict. But something felt wrong. The stars outslickered strangely. Jethal narrowed his eyes. "Are the sensors functioning?" "Perfectly," the officer replied. Then all screens turned black. For 3 full seconds, no visuals. No radar, no sound. Then, beep, beep. New objects appeared. 6 unknown ships. Close, too close. Inside the Dread Viper's own defense bubble. How did they get that close? The officer shouted. Double quotes. "No hyperspace alert. No gate signature." Captain Jethal barked. "Hail them. Now." But the comms only returned static. And then, the human voice returned. Scene 2. The message over the bridge speakers came, a deep, emotionless human voice. "You left us to burn. You watched us fall. Now we watch you." The voice stopped, and one of the unknown ships fired nothing. Yet, the Dread Viper's power core shut down, lights failed, gravity collapsed. The massive ship, proud and feared across systems, began to drift. The alien crew screamed. "What's happening?" "The main reactor is frozen. No weapons working." Outside, the 6 unknown vessels didn't fire again. They simply circled the disabled warcruiser and then vanished. Scene 3. Emergency debrief. Veltar High Command. Hours later, Captain Jethal sat pale and shaking in a medical room. His ship had to be towed back. He could barely speak. "They didn't use weapons. They didn't need to. They just looked at us." The High Council stared in silence. "Captain, are you saying they disabled your ship with no contact?" He nodded. "I think they touched our systems. Not physically. Something in the air. Something in the code." An old admiral whispered, "That's not science. That's something else." Scene 4. Kryn swarm destroyers in formation in another part of the galaxy. A Kryn swarm fleet of 30 ships was conducting war games. Suddenly, without warning, all 30 ships received the same message on a private channel that had never been hacked before. "Hello again." Panic spread. Comms tried to shut it down. Too late. The navigation screens on every ship changed. They ALL now showed the Earth, spinning silently, but glowing red at the poles. "Who is doing this?" The commander roared. Then, every ship's location changed. Instantly. Not in real space, but the maps believed they were all floating above Earth. The crews screamed in terror. Then the screens went black. When systems returned to normal, all 30 ships were untouched, but none dared move for hours. Scene 5. Inside the ghost ship. Inside one of the human ghost vessels, called the Whisper, Commander Ava Soren watched the footage. She smirked. "They still think we're using weapons." An officer beside her replied, "We didn't even activate shields." Another said, "The code injection worked. Their systems accepted the false location without resistance." Ava nodded. "That's the point. We don't need to hurt them. We only need to remind them what we became." She walked to the window. "Let them think the sky lies." Scene 6. Zulari Union Government Building. A group of leaders from the Zulari Union sat in a dark room. Each of them had received strange dreams. Yes, Dresh dreams. Private thoughts invaded by flashes of Earth, burning cities, human faces, unknown ships. One leader whispered, "How can we all see the same thing? We are different minds." Another trembled. "They're not just coming through space anymore. They're coming through memory." The leader of the council stood. This is no longer war. This is evolution. Scene 7. Civilian transport disappearance on a peaceful trade route. A passenger vessel called the Luminous Ray carried 2,000 tourists. It vanished. No wreckage. No explosion. No call for help. Then, 3 days later, it reappeared in perfect condition, in the exact same spot. But now, it had no crew. No passengers. Only a single sentence etched into its walls, burned into the steel. They saw. We showed. The ship was towed in. Scans showed no violence. Just silence. Scene 8. Layla's decision aboard the Oblivion. Layla watched as dozens of reports flooded in. Alien fleets frozen. Sensors tricked. Memories invaded. No war. No deaths. Only fear. Her second-in-command, Commander Reese, asked, "Do we push now? Strike?" Layla shook her head. "No, let fear build." She tapped a screen. A map of the galaxy appeared. Over 400 red dots. Each one a hidden human vessel. Each one waiting. We won't strike until they beg. Scene 9. Galactic emergency broadcast across the stars. Screens turned black. No warning. No control. Then a single image appeared. The Earth. Restored. Rebuilt. Then came the voice, Layla's voice. Calm. Clear. "We were never gone. You just stopped looking. Now you will see." Then came the final words. "We are the sky now." The image faded. The galaxy sat in silence. Final scene. A smuggler's ship in the shadows of an asteroid belt. A lone smuggler picked up an old signal. He played it, confused. It showed footage of Earth's destruction. Reversed. The buildings rebuilt. The trees are EGROWN. People walking again. At the end, one message blinked on screen. Phase 2, visibility. He leaned back in his chair, face pale. They're not hiding anymore. Long ago, the galaxy believed Earth was gone, but they were wrong. And now, they were starting to realize just how wrong they were. Scene 1, Outer Void. 6 light years from Sol System, in a dark corner of space, hidden between old black holes and collapsing stars, floated a long-forgotten object, Station Redgate. It was Earth's last experimental outpost, built in secret, never logged, and powered by stolen technology no alien had ever seen. For 17 years, it had slept. But now, it woke up. Scene 2, Redgate activation warning lights blinked. Systems powered up. Pressure stabilized. Lights flickered. AI cores came online. Inside, a single man stood in the center of the control room. Commander Elias Reeve. He was older now, hair gray. One arm replaced by a machine. His chest carried a deep scar from Earth's last battle. But his eyes still burned with fire. The AI voice spoke. "Welcome back, Commander. Ghost Fleet Phase 2 has begun." "Orders?" Elias nodded slowly. "Connect me to the fleet." Scene 3, inside the Ghost Fleet command on board the Oblivion. Commander Layla Grad's screen lit up. A message blinked. Source, Redgate. Auth code, Reeve. Her eyes widened. Reeve? He's alive? She accepted the signal. A few seconds passed. Then his face appeared, older, tired, but smiling. "Hello again, Layla." She stood, stunned. "Elias, we thought you died during the fall." His voice was calm. "I did, almost. But Redgate saved me. And I've been waiting." "For what?" she asked. Elias leaned forward. "For them to believe we were truly gone. And now that they believe it, we take the next step." Layla whispered, "Phase 3? He nodded. Double quotes, "Yes. Show them what we became." Scene 4, Galactic Council emergency meeting in the floating city of Zareth Prime. Leaders of the 5 major species gathered. Panic filled the room. More ships have appeared without signatures, without warp trails. One senator shouted, "We should have erased them when we had the chance." Another screamed, "You did. You burned their cities to ash." "But not their minds," came a voice from the shadows. All eyes turned. An old alien diplomat stepped forward. He was one of the few who had visited Earth before the war. They watched, they learned, and while we celebrated, they evolved. He paused. They didn't just survive. They transformed. Scene 5, Redgate Secret Inside Station Redgate. Commander Reeve stood in front of a long metal vault. He placed his hand on a scanner. It hissed open, slowly. Inside, rows of sleep pods blinked. Not all were full, but inside the active ones lay humans. Survivors, scientists, commanders, coders. The best of Earth saved before the final strike. Elias walked between the pods, voice steady. We saw it coming. We knew the Council would try to end us. So we sent our brightest minds here, hidden beneath dark matter fields. He stopped at one pod. Inside it lay a girl, only 19 years old, but her brain was connected to thousands of cables. She wasn't just asleep. She was calculating. Scene 6. Project Aneexus. Layla watched the feed from Redgate as Elias explained. This is Project Nexus. It's not a weapon. It's not a ship. It's evolution. He gestured to the girl. Her name is Mira. She was a prodigy, our youngest quantum architect. She volunteered to connect her mind with the new neural web. Layla frowned. What did she build? Elias said only one word. Control. Scene 7. Across the galaxy. Things stopped working in over 60 systems. Ships began malfunctioning. Weapons wouldn't fire. Engines turned off mid-jump. Defense grids blinked and stayed. Down hospitals lost power. Markets glitched. Every system that had once touched Earth's old networks, even for a second now, flickered. The aliens were confused. The humans were not. Back in the oblivion, Mira opened her eyes in the Redgate pod. She smiled. I have them. Scene 8. Alien response. Operation Purge. The Veltar Alliance launched Operation Purge, their strongest fleet sent to burn out every known human ghost location. They surrounded one such signal. An asteroid base near Sorella 5, 12 warships, thousands of soldiers. As they moved in, nothing happened. No ships fired. No resistance. The base didn't respond. So they entered. Inside, they found a message on every screen, a simple sentence. We could have ended you. We chose not to. Then their ship shut down. Permanently. Scene 9. Interview with a survivor, an alien scavenger named Trell found an old human escape pod drifting in deep space. Inside was a man half-starved, eyes hollow. A human. He survived Earth's destruction and had floated for 15 years in cryosleep. Trell asked him, "Why are you back? Why didn't you fight sooner?" The human looked up slowly. We didn't need to fight. We just needed you to forget. Forget what? The man smiled sadly. What humans do best. Scene 10. Redgate broadcast. Commander Reeve sent a galaxy-wide transmission. No visuals. Just voice. To those who watched Earth die. To those who clapped as our cities burned. To those who whispered, "It is over. You were wrong. We were never gone. We were underground. We were learning. And now we are awake." Scene 11. Final conversation. Layla and Elias in a secure line. Layla and Elias watched the final ghost fleet map. All ships in position. All systems under watch. Do we strike now? Layla asked. Elias shook his head. We don't need to strike. We just let the galaxy talk. And what will they say? She asked. He smiled. They'll say we're monsters. They'll say we're ghosts, but most of all, he looked at Earth's image. They'll say humans should never have been left alive. 17 years had passed since the fall of Earth. The galaxy believed Earth was gone, destroyed, dead, forgotten, but under layers of ash and ruin, Earth was waking. Scene 1. Beneath the ruins, deep underground. Below what was once New York, a vast network of tunnels stretched like veins through the earth. Within these tunnels, machines hummed softly. Walls glowed with faint blue light. Human engineers, long hidden from the galaxy's view, moved quietly. They wore simple suits, Faces tired but determined. Leading them was Dr. Mira Reeve, the same young woman from Station Redgate. Connected to Project Nexus, she was now Earth's most important mind. She touched a control panel. Power levels are stable. Life support is functioning. We're ready. A voice echoed through the tunnels. Commander Elias Reeve reports all systems operational. Mira smiled. We are alive. Scene 2. The I Guardian in the deepest chamber. A massive hologram flickered to life. It was the I named Aegis, Earth's silent guardian. Aegis spoke in a calm voice. Humanity has survived extinction. Reconstruction is complete. The planet is secure. Mira approached. How long can we keep this hidden? Aegis responded. Indefinitely. Alien sensors cannot penetrate the neural shields. The surface appears lifeless. We are ghosts beneath their gaze. Scene 3. Surface observation above ground. The galaxy saw only ash, dust, and silence. Zolari survey ships passed, scanning for life signs. All reported the same. No signs of life, no signals, no movement. General Vask of the Kryn swarm looked at the reports. Earth is dead. Let us move on. But deep inside his ship, sensors flickered for a moment, picking up a faint pulse. Vask frowned. What was that? Scene 4. Hidden factories in a remote underground factory. Human engineers worked tirelessly. They built ships. Not old designs, new ships. Sleek, silent, deadly. One engineer, Kara, wiped sweat from her brow. These ships will fly without engines. They will move like shadows. A supervisor nodded. Earth has learned from every enemy. Our ships don't fight with fire. They fight with control. Kara smiled grimly. They won't know we're here. Until it's too late. Scene 5. A secret weapon deep in a vault. Elias Reeve and Mira stood before a massive device. It was Earth's final creation, a weapon no one had seen. A sphere made of shifting light and metal. Elias said, "This is the Silent Core. It can shut down entire fleets without a single shot." Mira nodded. It controls matter and energy. It can erase ships from existence, but it is also our shield. Elias looked at her. We will use it only if necessary. Scene 6. Alien dreams across the galaxy. Aliens experienced strange dreams, visions of Earth's cities. Rising from the ashes. Voices whispering warnings. A new fear began, fear of the unseen. Senator Varnek from the Galactic Senate whispered in a secret meeting. They are not just rebuilding. They are becoming something else. Others nodded. We must prepare. Scene 7. The Redgate link from Station Redgate. Elias sent a message to Earth. Phase 3 is complete. Reconstruction successful. Awaiting further orders. Mira received. It had activated the neural web, a network of minds connected. Together, we are stronger. Together, we will rise. Scene 8. The first test in a training range beneath the Earth. A new human ship hovered. It was sleek and black, with no engines or wings. Mira and Elias watched as the ship vanished from sensors. Then it reappeared inside a shielded test dome. A message came through. We are ready. Scene 9. The galaxy watches from orbit and distant stars. Aliens watched Earth. They waited. The silence was louder than any war cry. The galaxy wondered, what had Earth become? Final scene. Mira's vision. Mira stood alone in the dark chamber. She looked at the stars through a thick glass dome. She whispered, "We survived the fire. We became the silence. Now we will be the storm." The lights flickered on the ships. Below, the ghost fleet was ready. The galaxy believed Earth was silent. They believed Earth was powerless. That they were wrong. Scene 1. The calm before the storming. The heart of the Veltar Alliance flagship. Celestial Fury. Commander Jathal Kern stared at the empty starfield. We've seen no sign of movement. For days, he said. Admiral Varix replied coldly. That silence is what worries me the most. Suddenly, alarms screamed. The sky outside the ship cracked open with sudden flashes like lightning. The celestial fury shook violently. Scene 2. The first strike outside. Invisible ships began to appear, ghostly black shapes cloaked in shadows. Without warning, they fired, not with missiles or lasers, with beams of pure energy, silent, precise, and deadly. One by one, Veltar ships lost power. Weapons went dark, engines failed, and entire fleets drifted helplessly through space. Scene 3. Panic. On the bridge, Commander Jathal screamed orders. But nothing worked. Systems refused to respond. The ship's AI flickered. The celestial fury slowly turned. Powerless as the ghost fleet closed in, the last thing Jathal saw was a silent beam hitting the ship's core. The ship exploded in a flash. Scene 4. Earth's Command Center. Commander Layla Grant watched the battle live from the oblivion. Her eyes were cold. We don't need to destroy their fleets. We just need to remind them why they feared us. Her officer asked, "What now, Commander?" Layla smiled. Now the sky opens fire. Scene 5. The battle across the galaxy. From the Kryn swarm worlds to the Julari Union, ships fell like stars collapsing. No one could stop the ghost fleet. Alien leaders scrambled to organize defenses, but every system they used was turned against them. Scene 6. The ghost fleet's advantage inside the flagship Whisper. Commander Ava Sorin commanded the attack. Our ships don't fight like theirs. We use their own technology against them. She watched enemy ships lose control. They think we use weapons, but our real weapon is control. Scene 7. A message. To the galaxy as entire fleets fell, Layla broadcasted a message. You left Earth for dead. You burned our homes. You destroyed our people. Now we bring the reckoning. Her voice was calm, but full of power. Scene 8. The aftermath. The galaxy was stunned. Millions of ships destroyed. Cities on planets went dark as supply lines failed. The alien empires faced their worst defeat in history. Scene 9. Hidden in the shadows on a small moon, a young alien scout watched the battle reports in horror. They said humans were finished. He whispered, they were wrong. Scene 10. Layla's final command aboard the Oblivion. Layla stared at the stars burning. With human fire, this is only the beginning, she said. Our sky will never be silent again. The war was over before it began. Not a war of armies. Not a war of numbers. But a war of fear. Scene 1. Crippled systems across hundreds of star systems. Ships drifted without power. Fleets sat like skeletons in the dark. Alien worlds lost contact with their moons, with their neighbors, with their protectors. The stars were quiet now, not because there was peace, but because Earth had taken control. Scene 2. The Senate's final meeting on the capital world of Zareth Prime. The Galactic Senate met in silence. No shouting. No speeches, only fear. Senator Varnak stood, his voice quiet. The humans gave us a choice, he said. Bow or break. Another senator hissed. We should fight. Varnak looked him in the eyes. Fight with what? Broken ships? Ghost cities? No one answered, because they all knew the truth. Earth had already won. Scene 3. Aboard the Oblivion, Commander Layla Grant stood before her crew. Behind her, the galaxy blinked on a giant screen, thousands of stars, all now within Earth's reach. She spoke plainly. We were cast into darkness. We rebuilt in silence, and now they know what we are. Her hand hovered over the command console. They call it surrender, but this is balance. Scene 4. Earth reveals itself for the first time in 17 years. Earth's skies lit up. The clouds parted. The atmosphere shimmered. And from the ashes rose towers of light and steel. Massive human cities stood tall again, more advanced than anything the galaxy had seen. Energy shields hummed quietly. Ghost ships hovered above, silent. Guardians. And across the stars, The image of Earth was broadcast live. No more hiding. No more pretending. Humanity had returned. Scene 5. The galaxy responds. Messages poured in, one by one. World by world. Some pleaded for peace. Some begged for protection. Some offered tribute. Others tried to stay silent. But silence was also a choice. And Earth had no patience for games. Scene 6. Station Redgate's final signal commander Elias Reeve stood alone in the control chamber. The neural network pulsed behind him. Aegis, the AI, spoke calmly. Final protocols engaged. Defense grid is complete. Observation networks operational. Elias sent a final signal to every ghost fleet. You are not conquerors. You are reminders. Reminders that humanity never forgets. Then he smiled sadly and never forgives. Scene 7. The homecoming in the deepest vault beneath Earth's surface. Cryopods began to open. The old leaders. The scientists. The children. Saved during the final days of the war. Now waking up to a new world. One child looked up and asked, "Did we win?" Her mother knelt beside her. "No," she said gently. "We survived, and they lost." Scene 8. The last resistance. A single system refused to bow. Drekken 5. Home to a brutal war clan that once fought Earth. They sent a message: we do not kneel to ghosts. Within hours, the system's stars dimmed. Satellites exploded. Their military base blinked from existence. No weapons were fired. No ships were seen. Only silence. Then, Earth's voice echoed across their planet. You chose break. Scene 9. Ava Soren's broadcast commander. Ava Soren of the Whisper addressed the galaxy. She stood in front of Earth's new world capital. Behind her, the sky shimmered with ghost ships. We are not monsters. We are not saviors. We are what you made us. You chose to burn Earth. Now Earth burns in your memory. We offer one rule, one law. Leave us untouched or be unmade. Scene 10. The Treaty of Ash and Steel. Galactic Council signed the treaty. Simple, direct. Earth would control all former territories it once traded with. No alien ship may enter Sol System without permission. Earth's ghost fleets will remain. Everywhere. In return, Earth offered one thing: order. Scene 11. Layla's quiet moment. Layla stood on a hilltop, overlooking a rebuilt Earth city. Children played in the distance. Shields hummed in the air. She spoke softly. We didn't want to become this, but you gave us no choice. Beside her, Mira said, we became the very thing they feared. Layla nodded. Double quotes, yes. And that's why they'll never try again. Final scene. Across the stars in a distant part of the galaxy, a small alien child stared at the night sky. He pointed to a blinking red dot. Papa, what's that? His father looked and went pale. That's Earth. The child whispered, Are they coming? His father shook his head slowly. No, they're already here.